leaving central Gaza, trying to reach their homes in the north, travelling through El Rashid Street that runs the length of Gaza's coastline. But their journey is cut short by an Israeli strike. Many Palestinians had heard that the Israeli military was allowing safe passage.
طبعا
They said there's a return to the north. We want our homes. We want our lives. We want to return, whether with or without a truce. But we want to return. Enough.
Israel denies offering people access to travel, instead claiming it warned people against moving north and saying the area is still a war zone, as it has been since the war began on 7th October. But conditions for the 1.9 million displaced people in central and southern Gaza, that's 80% of the population, are so difficult many cannot bear to remain where they are.
Life here is very miserable. The necessities of life are non-existent. At risk to ourselves, we are trying to return to the places we were in before and meet our families, children, and loved ones who remain there.
Thousands of people are in overcrowded UNRWA shelters that were formerly schools, and many more are in tents and makeshift shelters, all with inadequate access to running water, food, and toilets.
We have not known comfort since we were displaced. We want to rest and return to our place.
But the journey home is dangerous, and if they manage to get there, they'll find widespread destruction, with the majority of buildings, including their homes, flattened. Imogen Kimber, Al Jazeera.
The Israeli military says it plans to call up 2 reserve divisions for operations in Gaza as it pursues its war on the Strip. Gaza's media office says that 6 Israeli attacks within 24 hours on al-Nusrat refugee camp have killed 19 people and wounded more than 200. Further north, Jabalia was also hit by a series of airstrikes. At least 33,600 Palestinians have been killed since the war began in October. Tensions remain high in the occupied West Bank as Israeli settlers target Palestinian villages. Have a look at this. This was in Teen, east of Ramallah. Settlers are seen setting a car on fire. The latest violence sparked by the disappearance of a 14-year-old settler whose body was later found. Dozens of properties have been set on fire. 2 Palestinians were killed in the confrontations this week. In Ibrahim met a family in the occupied West Bank that's been attacked twice, including on Sunday. She filed this report.
Hazem Hamid says he lives in a small prison, isolated by Israel's separation wall and surrounded by an illegal Israeli settlement. His father built the family home in the 1970s, before the settlement of Beit El near Ramallah was established. Late on Saturday, the Palestinian families were attacked by Israeli settlers.
This all took place last night at 11 p.m. local time. We were shocked. We have 2 little girls who are 6 years old. They were very scared. They were crying, so our neighbors came and took them away.
Since the start of the war on Gaza, Israeli forces have established a gate here saying it would prevent Palestinians from attacking Israeli settlers. But what happened late on Saturday is that Israeli settlers attacked Palestinian families here, and that gate made it difficult for Palestinians to come and offer help until they took it away. In other villages,
Back to the UN Security Council, we're hearing from the Russian ambassador, that's Vasily Nebenzia, speaking at the Security Council.
Noted, Secretary General, the fact that yesterday you instantly publicly reacted and condemned the actions of Iran. It is regrettable that, unlike the meeting today, you did not propose to brief the Council on the 2nd of April, where, upon Russian initiative, an emergency briefing was called to discuss the Israeli strike against the consular premises in Damascus. We would like to also see a greater activity on your part so as to convey to members of the Council information on other no less turbulent topics for the Middle East today. For example, about the now regular attacks by Israel against neighboring Syria and Lebanon. If such attitude, such things will continue unnoticed, then your appeals to restraint by all parties which we share can become futile.
Hello, my friends. How are
When
you?
we met
All
in
of
this
you.
chamber on the 2nd of April, so as to discuss
I
the
am
strike
greeting
by
you.
Israel
You are
against the
welcome, all
consular
of you.
premises of the
I
the
hope you are
Islamic
all
Republic around
great.
Damascus, we warned
I
that what was
hope
needed
you are all
was a
fine,
strong and unified signal by the Council that such
isn't
actions were
it?
unacceptable. And
I
not
don't know which
only against
language
the sovereign states of
you are
Iran or
speaking,
Syria, and not only in the Middle
but
East,
you can
but
write
anywhere in the
down,
world.
all of you, which language
We called
are
on
you
the
are
colleagues
you
of the
understanding?
Security Council to clearly and unequivocally condemn such reckless steps to make
I
sure
can
that they
speak
don't
many
get repeated.
languages.
We also warned that
I can
otherwise the
try
risk
to
of
speak
a
many
repeat of
languages,
such
but
acts and a general escalation in the region would grow manifold. We even
but
proposed
which
a
language
draft
are you
press
preferring?
statement by the Security Council, and
Which
this was put
language are you
together on the
preferring
basis of
to
standards for just cases,
to
depoliticized language.
preferring me to
And what did we
speak
hear
to you?
at that time from our Western
Okay,
delegations? They said that for them, not everything was clear and obvious, and what was necessary was to assess and see whether such a
all
signal
of you
from the
write
Council
down
will help
the
stabilize the
language
situation in the region. The United States, UK, and
which
France,
you will be
they're essentially declined to confirm the
liking
basic principles
us,
of international
you,
law about the
to
inviolability of
communicate.
diplomatic and consular facilities, which are
Ah,
enshrined in the Vienna Conventions on this issue, apply equally to all states.
Assalamu
And
alaikum.
the outcome is now clear for everyone to see.
Assalamu.
You know very well that an attack against a diplomatic representation is a casus belli under international law. And if a Western representation had been hit, you would immediately have rained down
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
reprisals and would argued that you were right about this in this very chamber. And this is because for you, everything that has to do with Western representations of Western citizens is sacred. It needs to be protected. But when it comes to other countries, their rights, including the right to self-defense, about their nationals, well, that's a different matter. You start doing legalistic hair splitting, etc. And today, the Security Council we're witnessing is a
Hello,
display
my
of
friends.
hypocrisy and double standards.
You welcome all of
Which
you. I
is
don't know which
mostly waxing
language you are
worse.
understanding, most of
Russia
you,
has warned
but
on
I
many
think
occasions
English
that the fact that many crises in the Middle
is
East are
the
unsettled forces
international
were not in
language
the area
and
of Israeli
is the
Palestinian
largest
conflict,
language
which are frequently fueled
the
by
people may
irresponsible,
be
unilateral,
understanding
provocative acts,
with
will
each other.
lead to a growth of tension in the whole region.
I like English, but it's not
We
my
have stated on
language.
many occasions that no country in the Middle East
I
would
didn't
join
use
an Arab official
English
to come in
language a
arena
long,
for
long,
regional
long
or
time.
international confrontation or an arena
I
for
has
settling
I
political
haven't
scores.
I
What
haven't
happened in
been
the night of the
using
14th of
English
April
language
did
a
not
long time,
happen in a vacuum.
but
The
I
steps
can try
undertaken by
and I can
Iraq
understand.
became a
Little
reaction
bit.
to a disgraceful inaction by the Security Council, in a reaction to an egregious attack by Israel against Damascus, and not the first one, as Syria is constantly being bombarded by Israel. Many of you today did not find the courage to state clearly that the outburst of violence in the Middle East is developing against the background of an operation which is lasting more than 6 months, is unprecedented in terms of the number of victims, an operation conducted by West Jerusalem, Mid Gaza, and West Bank. And this is despite an unambiguous demand in Security Council Resolution 2728 to ceasefire immediately. Such silence about the deep root of the crisis is unacceptable, especially against the background of the tension surrounding Iran, which is fueled by the US and other colleagues, and the fact that Israel is not complying with the Security Council resolutions is an obvious disrespect shown to the Council, to all of you who are here in the member seats, and a complete disregard to the decisions made by the Security Council. And non-compliance with Security Council decisions is not something that one should get away with, and it's fraught with sanctions against the violent.
Hello, my friends, all of you. You are welcome.
Very well,
All of
dangerous
you, you
escalations
are
in
welcome.
January 2020, when the region was on the brink of a conflict as a result of an illegal elimination by the United States on Iraqi territory of Qasem Soleimani and a number of other Iraqi officials. But Washington did not draw appropriate conclusions from that, and as a result, the reckless acts undermining stability, security, all parties involved in the incident to exercise restraint under the extremely tense situation on the ground in the Middle East. And
Assalamu alaikum.
the obvious risk of the conflict growing and becoming region-wide. We expect that the regional states will resolve all of the issues they have using political and diplomatic means only. We also think it's important to make sure that the constructive international players assisted in this matter. This violent confrontation and bloodshed must be stopped. We think it's urgent for the entire international community to undertake all efforts necessary to de-escalate the situation. Otherwise, the region could become drawn into a vicious cycle of mutual attacks and violence. In this regard, we note the signal sent by Tehran that they do not seek a further military escalation against Israel. And we urge West Jerusalem to follow suit and reject the practice of provocative use of force in the Middle East, as they are fraught with extremely dangerous risks and consequences for the whole region, which is already destabilized as a result of intensified Israeli-Palestinian confrontation. I thank you. I find the representative
اللهم صل على محمد 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 وعلى آل محمد اللهم صل يا رب صل عليه وسلم اللهم صل على محمد يا رب صل عليه على محمد يا رب صل عليه وسلم اللهم صل على محمد يا رب صل عليه وسلم.
Hypocrisy and double standards, as you mentioned, and really what he laid out is his case that on April 2nd, when the Security Council met after Israel struck the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Russia said, let's have a condemnation of that because it's a direct and obvious violation of international law, a direct and obvious violation of the Vienna Convention that prohibits aggressions against diplomatic facilities.
اللهم صل على محمد.
The council could not reach any sort of condemnation of Israel. In fact,
اللهم صل على محمد.
provided a press statement that we could have sent out in the name of the Security Council, and even that was rejected because, as the Americans told me after the
اللهم
meeting
صل
was over,
على
they basically said
محمد.
on April 2nd,
اللهم
they said, oh, we don't know if Israel was involved. We need to wait. We need to get more information. We don't know how a condemnation could affect potential ceasefire talks on the ground.
اللهم
So the
صل
Russian
على
ambassador cited all of that and said, standard, and you did not want that. And I think that was the big message you heard from the Russians there. Not surprising, but he really laid it out in very stark terms. I will also say he was a little critical of Secretary General Antonio Guterres as well at the beginning, saying on April 2nd, why didn't you, Secretary General, come to brief the Security Council then, after Israel struck the Iranian consulate in Damascus? And he didn't. He said, we expect that you will speak out about Israel's attacks that have been going on elsewhere, and he cited in Syria and Lebanon as well. So, listen, I think you heard it very stark terms there from the Russian ambassador. Clearly, Russia is a close, if not the closest ally of Iran on the Security Council, so perhaps not surprising. Nevertheless, it was certainly a counter view to this whole situation compared to what we heard from Robert Wood, the U.S. Deputy Ambassador, who stood lockstep with Israel, painting Israel out to be a complete victim here.
Right, okay, we're going to talk over the Russian position with Mark Bashar here in the studio shortly, but I just want to ask you very quickly. We've been hearing, we've just been listening to Russia and to the United States. We're going to hear from Israel and Iran themselves very shortly. But you've been listening into lots of other countries speaking as well, like the UK and France and so forth. What kind of impression have you got about their stance?
They're not quite as strong as you've heard from the U.S. and from Russia. And what I mean by they're not as strong is they're all kind of saying very cooperation, concern, and de-escalation. Those three things are kind of the themes that you're getting from all of the other speakers. I will say we heard from Slow Biden by the Security Council resolutions calling for a ceasefire, and he said that is regrettable that the council has not been able to enforce that ceasefire.